नमस्कार. नवी वर्सांतल्या ह्या पहिल्या डिबेटाक तुमकां सगळ्याक येवकार आनी विशय आमी तसोच हाडला. तो म्हळ्यार नवी वर्सा भितर नवो मुख्यमंत्री आसा, पण पन्नी इश्यू आनी पन्नी कॅबिनेट अशी सरकाराची परिस्थिती आसा. आनी ओपोजिशना भितर खंय खंय नवे चेहरे येवपाक लागल्यात, पण अजून पर्यंत जी जिद्द दिसपा जाय ती पन्नीच अशी परिस्थिती भितर ओपोजिशनूय नवी वर्सां भितर येता. कितें जातलें, चॅलेंजीस कितें सरकारा मुखाल्ल्यो आनी ओपोजिशना मुखाल्ल्यो, आनी तातूंतल्यान गोंयकाराक निमणें कितें मेळटलें ह्या 2015 भितर हाचेर आमी भासाभास करतात. 4 जाण मानेस्त आसा म्हणजे पयले आसात ते भाजपाचे फुडारी आनी आमदार सुभाष फळदेसाय, स्वागत तुमचें. दुसरे आसात जे नवे चेहरे हांव म्हणटालो ते काँग्रेसीचे फुडारी आनी स्पोक्स पर्सन, आनीक आतां हांव तांकां एक्टिविस्ट म्हणना, ते आतां एक्टिविस्ट हो पयलींचो इतिहास जालो. यतीश नायक, स्वागत. तिसरे आसात म्हणजे अजुनूय जे एक्टिविस्ट आसात जे मदीं मातशे राजकारणी जातात, आनी दोतोर गोंयचे नामनेचे ऑस्कर रिबेलो, स्वागत. आनी चवथी आसात, म्हाका दिसता ह्या डिबेटा भितर बिनधास्त सामके उलोवपाक शकतात ते अपक्ष आमदार विजय सरदेसाय. हांव सुरवात दोतोर ज्वेलांक करता, कारण बाकी तिगी जाण राजकारणी न्ही. कितें चॅलेंजीस, 3 चॅलेंजीस अश्यो मेजर इन लक्ष्मीकांत पार्सेकारा मुखाल्ल्यो आनी काँग्रेसी मुखाल्ल्यो ह्या 2015 भितर तांकां जाग्यार घालच्यो पडटल्यो. कारण 2016 एकदां 2015 सोंपलें की इलेक्शनाक हार्डली 1 वर्स उरतलें, 1 वर्स 2 ते 3 म्हयने उरतले. सो दॅट वील बी प्रॅक्टिकली एन इलेक्शन इयर. सो वॉट एवर यू नीड टू डू नाव एंड इन दीस इयर. हाऊ आर यू लुकिंग एट इट?
See, I think where our mistake is, Pramod, where we constantly keep making this mistake over the last decade and a half, that this whole impact of globalization has hit Goa in such a big way, and from where we are reeling from the shock, is we keep on consistently harping that it's challenges before Digambar Kamath, challenges before Manohar Parrikar, challenges before Lakshmikant Parsekar. I think this whole individual-centric thing is where we go wrong. It is about challenges to the Goan society and how Goan society is going to respond to this particular challenge. And that's where we have failed. And in one line, because I don't want to go into the whole circus again and again, speaking elaborately, but in one line, the challenge for Goan society, Goan politicians, Goan activists, environmentalists, is to simply go back to the basics. This is where we are failing. We are just not addressing basic issues about Goa. Basic issues like land, basic issues like garbage, for instance. Basic issues like corruption, basic issues like law and order. These are so fundamental. The Congress failed in its 5 years. They were booted out. The BJP came back on the promise to solve these issues, and they have been building bridges and skyways into heaven and into, and taking us into health with all the other issues that they are constantly used to articulating. And they have kept on forgetting these basic issues, and that is the reason why people are so agitated continuously in the state. In the Congress time, of course, people used to be out in the streets because in Congress, democracy runs riot, as it were. And in the BJP time, they don't come out in the streets so often. And that is again the challenge to the Congress or to perhaps all the opposition parties, except, of course, this gentleman to my left, where silence is sort of enforced in many ways, or silence is bought out in many ways, and it looks like that there is no opposition on the ground. But there is certainly opposition and resentment in the voter. And how you're going to handle that as a political party or as a party in government and in power, that is very, very tricky. Because you're not going to be able to silence the voter eventually when it comes to the polls. So to me, it is about going back to the basics, and every political party, including mine, perhaps.
3 challenges, एक तुझी स्वतःची पक्षा मुखार आणि 3 challenges मुख्यमंत्री आणि एक सरकार पक्षावर.
See, let me be honest. The new PCC president who has come in has clearly said that party has to bring in a new approach. He has said party has to bring in young blood. He has said we have made some mistakes. We should ensure that those mistakes don't happen. So I think the PCC president has put these things in the correct perspective. Now coming to what are the challenges before the government. Sade, simple. Regional plan issue, वो इशू अजून जिवंत आसा. 20 मार्च 2012 गव्हर्नर शंकर नारायणान एक स्पीच केल्ली हावजान, wherein he said that his government will denotify the regional plan and formulate a new one in due consultation with all stakeholders. His speech. This speech has been voted by the House. Once it is voted, it becomes government's policy decision. हांव तुका सांगता विजय बाबान स्पिकराक हावसान सांगिल्लें 24 जुलय 2014 हांव एक्स्ट्रॅक्ट वाचता. स्पीकर सर जेन्ना सो एंड सो तुवें सांगिल्लें डिनोटिफाय करतलो म्हणून. At which Honorable then Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar had said, I have not denied that. He had said it. आता अशें आसतना he has to go by what policy he has laid before the house and voted before the house. That is not happening. ते आता कितें भलतेंच कितें उलोवंक लागल्या. 15 पंचायतींनी ऑब्जेक्ट केल्ले आनी कितें मॅनिफेस्टो काडी जाल्यार तुका आनीकूय कितें कितें घडलें आनी कितें फाल्यारपणां केल्या ती. सेकंड इज स्पेशल स्टेटस. Special status is an issue which has to be looked into two ways. One, there are several measures which the Goa government can do, which they are not doing. And secondly, they have to pursue under 371. 371 acher, tani Modi jenna anga illo, that time Modi himself said, ashe proposals are aile, I will be happy to consider it. Thereafter, Shantaram Naik raised that question in the house, in the parliament. Rijiju, who is the Union Minister of State, said no such proposal. The delegation and all those things I don't understand. Like delegation दुसरो मनीस जेन्ना आयकना तेन्ना delegation असता. तुजोच जेन्ना प्राइम मिनिस्टर असता तेन्ना delegationाचो अर्थ कितें तो म्हाका खबर ना. But anyway, so special status they have to give. There is no excuse. Third is finances of the state. Finances of the state have gone to the lowest possible level, which is coming everywhere. Your channel is also showing it in different ways. So finance of the state has to be put right, which is a big challenge.
Okay.
And आणि एक फोर्थ which is infrastructure. मडगांवचे हॉस्पिटल बांदपाक हांचेकडे 40 कोटी ना, पूण तो दोनापावलाचो कॉन्क्रिटायझेशन करपाक 200 कोटी हा. So infrastructure prioritization
misplaced priorities.
Misplaced priorities and failed priorities.
Okay. विजय कितें तीन इश्यूज, 3 ओपोजिशना मुखारले, 3 रुलिंगा मुखारले.
एक म्हणल्यार 3 इश्यूनी कवर जायना.
हय.
म्हाका दिसता
तुझ्याकडे खूप असतले.
ना सरकार
टाइम कमी आसा.
I will just take it from where Oscar has started.
हय.
He said that it is not about individuals and we have to go back to the basics. आता चायनाचो Deng Xiaoping जो आसलो तो म्हणटालो की doesn't matter whether the cat is black or the cat is white. As far as it catches the mice. So we have to focus on outcomes. If we look at outcomes and we look at the performance of the government, we see there are no achievement on promises made. In 2015, however, एक बरी वस्त जाल्या म्हणटी बीजेपी आता सत्य उलोवंक लागल्या. पहिले 3 दिसांनीच तांणी सांगलें की स्पेशल स्टेटस म्हणटा जावचो ना. पेट्रोलाचेर वॅट देंवयले ती आमची चूक जाली, विच वॉज अ मॅनिफेस्टो, इलेक्शन मॅनिफेस्टो. तिसऱ्या दिसा तांणी सांगलें की काझिनो म्हणटा केन्नाच मांडवींतले भायर वचूंक शकना आनी काझिनोची इंडस्ट्रीची स्टेबिलिटी ही सरकाराची प्रायोरिटी. ह्या 3 तांणी क्लियर केलें. आनी आज इंडस्ट्रीज मिनिस्टर सांगता की 50,000 जॉब्स म्हणटे करूंक जावचे ना.
सरकार खरी उलयता म्हण तूं खुश आहा
एक
काय नाखुश आहा?
बरें आमी वी वूड हॅव टू फोर्स देम टू एडमिट. नाव दे आर एडमिटिंग ऑन देअर ओन. दिस इज वन गुड थिंग. नाव लेट अस गो टू देअर चॅलेंज. I think their first challenge will be to find and announce new dates in lieu of the dates which were left by Parrikar. कित्याक पर्रीकार ज्यो तारख्यो दितालो ताका तारकेश्वर बाबा म्हणून नांव पडिल्लें. आतां ते तारख्यांचे येवजी नव्यो तारख्यो सोदच्यो आनी तारख्यो अनावन्स करच्यो ही तांची पयली चॅलेंज जाता. दुसरी चॅलेंज म्हणल्यार कितें की एक आतां पार्सेकारान म्हणल्यार आपल्याक 1000 कोटी तरी दियात. सो तो आतां भीक मागपाक लागला. ही भीक मागपाक एक नवो स्लोगन कितें तरी घेवप. यू विल हॅव टू कॉइन अ न्यू स्लोगन फॉर बॅगिंग बाउल. This is the challenge number 2. Third challenge म्हणटी अशी की तांणी आतां टुरिझम सगळें न्हिदयलां. आतां टुरिझम न्हिदयतकर एक प्रश्न येता की जंकेट्स कित्याक केली आनी जाल्यार टुरिझम फेल कशें जालें. सो आतां एक नवें कितें तरी येवजण तयार करप. ही नवी येवजण विल हॅव टू बी a new way to siphon off money. That is now called the investor summits on lines of vibrant Gujarat. This is the third challenge. How to now गोंयकारांच्या कानान कशें घालप. चौथे म्हणल्यार आतां ताणें टुरिझम मिनिस्टरान एक क्लियर सांगिल्लें आहा की इरेडिकेटिंग नॅर्कोटिक्स इन गोवा इज इम्पॉसिबल म्हणून. सो आतां ताणें एक ही हॅज ब्रॉट अबाउट अ न्यू चॅलेंज टू द गव्हर्मेंट इज टू रिडिफायन द कन्सेप्ट ऑफ झिरो टॉलरन्स टू करप्शन. मागीर 5वी चॅलेंज म्हणटी म्हाका दिसता की हे जेन्ना तांचो परिवार आहा आनी तांची ती खूब ऑर्गनायजेशन आहा ताका एक लोकांक आमच्या गोंयकारांक दाखोवप की आमी तांची एक लगाम घाल्या अशी. पूण एट द सेम टायम भितरल्यान तांकां एनकरेज करप. आतां यतिशान बरेंच पयलीं स्टार्ट केलें की आपले प्रेसिडेंटान हें सांगलां तें सांगलां तें सांगलां म्हणून. पूण चॅलेंज खंयचे आपल्या पार्टीक खंयच्यो आहा त्यो सांगूंकूच ना. सो म्हाका दिसता काँग्रेसीची व्हडल्यांतली व्हडली चॅलेंज, एकमेव चॅलेंज म्हणटा ती इज टू एडमीट रियलिटी that they don't think that there is a challenge to them. They feel that the stars will change, contrary astrologer will forecast, and then the power will come back to them, which will not happen.
The thing will happen by default for Congress.
You need a street fighting opposition. Yes, street fighting करपाक जे air condition संवय जाल्या ते रस्त्यार येवपाची कापाजत आहा काय ना हे एक आत्मचिंतन करपाची गरज आहा.
Subash Bab, I think your first challenge is defending all the challenges. How would you respond? I want to
not only defending all the challenges, but right from the beginning, when the day we took over the government, how many challenges were there, and everybody was anxiously waiting for that. And to the extent the Lok Sabha results have shown how people have turned again with the BJP, it's because of its performance, not
of the state government.
Yes,
of the state government.
Of the state government, of course. Because Vijay Babu also initially said that Modi.
तुम्ही mid term exam pass केल्या.
Exactly, we say that because we have, it is on our this thing performance. बाकीचे त्या वेळावेल्यो ज्यो गजाली आशिल्ल्यो त्या वेळावेल्यो ज्यो चॅलेंजीस आशिल्ल्यो त्यो पयलीं म्हणजे जर जायत PWDच्या खात्यान कितलीशीच बिलां 1000 कोटी म्हणजे ओवर 500 crores ते सोडून गेल्ले जायनासतना. इलेक्ट्रिसिटीचे हे नाशिल्ले आमचे ऑलमोस्ट कट जावपाच्या वेळार पावल्ले ग्रिडा कडच्यान घेता आसतना. All these challenges to meet these challenges, we had a lot of revenue generation had to be taken place.
तुमकां परत सिच्युएशन नॉर्मल करपाकच 2.5 वर्स गेली.
ज्या वेळार आमी see when we had put our agenda, when manifesto आमच्या लोकां मुखार दवरला त्या वेळार we had some amount of mining revenue to be collected, but that has not happened. Mining ताजे फाटल्यान बंद जाले. But despite of all this, we could manage to implement our manifesto. आणि आमच्या मॅनिफेस्टोक ज्यो प्रमुख 4-5 गोष्टी आशिल्ल्यो त्यो भिनासतना केल्यो आणि तातूंतल्यान रेव्हेन्यू जनरेटय जालो. पीपल मस्ट हॅव नॉट रियलायज फ्रॉम वेर इट हॅज कम. पण माननीय त्या वेळेच्या मुख्यमंत्री मनोहर पर्रीकरान आपल्या फायनान्शियल एबिलिटीच्या नुसार ज्या जाग्या वेल्यान लोकांक चिमट काडनासतना केन्नाय कांयच करिनासतना
आता पर्रीकार ना आता कशें
पर्रीकार ना जाले जाल्यार पळय आमी कितें आसता कोणाचे तरी आशीर्वाद असतात. पर्रीकार ना जाले जाल्यार पासून
वीकेंड गव्हर्नमेंट.
नो इट इज नॉट अ वीकेंड
गव्हर्नमेंट.
सी महाभारतां भितर श्रीकृष्णाचो रोल काय नाशिल्लो, ताणें शस्त्र घेतले ना, पण कांय आयडियाज ताणें दिल्यो तातूंतल्यान पांडव.
So your Arjun has become Sri Krishna now. That is how you are describing it.
No, but always we will seek advice from it because he is the wisest person. It's because of that, because of his performance in the government and because of his intelligence, he has been taken for the highest post at Delhi. So we are proud of it. But always we seek whatever guidance from him. And अशें काय ना तो he is not dealing from Goa and he is not ruling the Goa. But as and when this government needs his help, his advice, we always seek his advice.
Okay. दादा एक गजाल मान्य करतात की सेम लोकसभा इलेक्शन was kind of a mid-term exam for this government. They have passed it, and Subash Bab is saying ki we have passed the mid-term exam. Now give us time to perform. Don't be judgmental.
No. See, the midterm poll or the Lok Sabha poll was clearly a Modi wave. There was no doubt about it. But many of us did not read at that point of time. But then the election results showed you that the Modi wave was an enormous tsunami. There's no doubt about the fact that there was a wave. And the BJP in Goa rode that wave. There's no doubt about it. In South Goa, for instance, the Congress or whatever, the Reginald's performance was pretty impressive despite the wave. And you must not forget that the Congress is always such a divided house. And God alone knows how many Congress people were in the BJP lap at the time of the Lok Sabha.
So you are not looking at Lok Sabha result as a
no, definitely not. As a referendum on the local government, definitely
on the local government.
Pramod, I think that is where we make a mistake. The whole thing is winning an election. We look at it as if it's a referendum on the performance of what has happened and as far as the issues of Goa is concerned. And for this I blame both the Congress as well as the BJP. Because during the 5 years of the Congress rule, when people were out on the streets screaming for things to happen, mining, illegal mining and corruption and nepotism and the PWD scams and all kind of scams just continued it. So today the same Congress fellows are coming and saying, oh, the BJP is doing that. What were you doing during 5 years? We cannot take the Congress for face value. The trust that the trust deficit with the Congress is still extremely high, and it will require people like Yatish with all his intelligence and with all his wherewithal to try and get that trust deficit bridged.
That is the biggest problem.
Yeah, sure. So no, and the second important point about the BJP and the whole Parrikar phenomenon, I will grant it to Manohar Parrikar that he definitely managed the finances of the state very well indeed, despite all the constraints that came in, the slashing of the mining revenue, etc., etc. Though, of course, there were huge, generous doles that were given out, which were definitely not necessary. And now with the petrol, the VAT going up, you realize that it was not necessary in the first place. The point is not that. The point is where I think there is so much of hurt and anger against, particularly Manohar Parrikar, is the fact that this was the man during the Congress regime who stood by activists, who came with the environmentalists, who came with the people of Goa on the issues of corruption, on the issues of garbage, on the issues of Goa's protection, Goa's land, on special status, though I've got my own issues with special status, but on all these issues he was there. And then when he came to power, possibly he could not solve it, and it's never possible to solve these issues overnight with some kind of a magic wand. But he refused to explain why he could not solve those issues. He refused to take all these activists and all these environmentalists that he was with in confidence and try and negotiate some kind of settlement. So this is the point.
Subash, जो point विजयान काढिल्लो आणि तो बरो ह्युमरसली काढलो की सरकार खरी उलोवपा लागलं म्हणून. I look at it as a positive sign. कि Chief Minister for the first time, the Chief Executive of the state is speaking truth. He is telling the reality to the people.
Which is good.
Which is good. That's what I'm saying. It's a very positive sign. For the first time, आता विजय ताक म्हणतालो की U-turnaचे U-turn म्हणून. So we are back to square one. If it is U-turn of U-turn, but we are coming back to square one and trying to rebuild something where Manohar Parrikar was just not ready to accept the reality. Has this new dispensation decided to be truthful and address the issues the way they are?
आयज आमकां जे शक्य आशिल्लें ह्या सरकाराक जे शक्य आशिल्लें त्या पॉयंटाचेर आमी वी हॅव कॅरीड ऑन एंड वी हॅव परफॉर्मड ऑल्सो एंड वॉट इज देर टू एक्सेप्ट इफ द थिंग which we may have promised, and if it is not happening despite of all our efforts, it is better to say that these are the problems, as they have said that you must have come out earlier saying that these are the problems that we face and we just cannot implement what we said initially, for what we were fighting with the NGOs and with the activists.
So Parrikar's departure to Delhi is a blessing in disguise.
Because the failure is not on the part of efficiency of the government, the failure of the circumstances makes it not to happen. And being to be very frank with this, their voters, it is not I don't feel
it's a good thing. We are saying it's a good thing. Vijay हसते कित्याक? First time government is being truthful आणि तरी आसतना तू हसता तांकां कित्याक?
इतल्याच खातीर की तांची एक स्ट्रॅटेजी आहा. Subash,
you are reading strategy into this.
I'm trying to dissect what Subash has said. Two things he has said. One, he says that we take guidance from Parrikar. Number one. Number two, they say that they have admitted what is not possible is not possible. I see that there is a modus operandi behind this. One thing is that they have been guided by Parrikar to go and say that this is not possible. They have been guided by Parrikar to say that casinos, we will renew, that is the old man, we have got nothing to do with him. I have got sizable evidence to say that this is guided. That
guidance
the renewal of casinos,
it is asked for. Guidance and advice are not just thrown out.
एक minute. It's a modus operandi given by Parrikar. And the idea is to create new, fresh, false promises for 2017. आता ना ते आता किती सांगू शकता? एक मिनिट. ते सांगू शकता की आता जायना बाबा. आम्ही तुमका पहिलीच सांगितले. So they are preparing Goans for a new set of false promises for 2017.
यतीश तुका दिसता की
this is what it is.
एक गजाल की सरकार खरी उलयता हो पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू आणि दुसरो विजयाचो पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू की बीजेपी इज ट्राइंग टू स्विंग दिस सिच्युएशन टू देयर एडवांटेज
Two things.
by being truthful and somehow not keeping the continuity.
BJP is not being
of
truthful
what
in all
Manohar
this.
Parrikar was
No,
saying.
BJP, that's not the
It's
way
not
I
truthful.
would pursue it.
Okay.
Two things. First of all, I have to say, because काँग्रेसच्या बद्दल कितें उलयले that they have to be street fighters and all that. I can tell you two things.
You are a street fighter म्हणून.
You know me well. I have been a street fighter. All I can tell you is that Pradesh Congress has got a very senior organizational man like Mr. Phaldesai at the helm of it. It has got a very experienced legislator in Mr. Rane in the assembly. आम्ही चिंतन शिबीर केली. पयर ते रिफ्रेशर जालें. Take it from me. Congress party is very, very serious. You take it from me.
Will we see visible difference in 2015?
Yes. Yes. One second.
Yatish.
Let me complete. Let me complete. Let me
Let
complete.
me attack the Congress, please.
No, let me
Please,
complete. Don't be like some who don't get opportunity to speak. 1 second. You attack the Congress if you wish.
Okay,
but
complete,
Let
complete.
me complete first.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Congress is very, very serious in building its organization. Congress knows very well. You please see Mr. Phaldesai's opening remarks when he took over as the president. ताणे म्हणला, Congress has made mistakes. He has said it, and it is very gracious of a president to admit it. He has said it because he had to do it.
John
That
Fernandez
is what.
also admitted it.
No, I don't want to go in history.
Okay.
What I'm saying. He has said it, which is very important. He has said that mistakes will not happen. Trust आमका लोकांमध्ये बांधचो पडटलो. There is no doubt. But तुका एक सांगता, party is serious. Party has taken cognizance of the reality. Party has started.
We will see
1
Congress
second.
fighting.
You will see Congress fighting in the right manner, at the right forums, and in the right approach.
Okay, Dr. your point.
In 2015 or up to 2017, are you all going to be busy building up the Congress infrastructure, or are you interested in articulating the Goa issues? Because, for instance, the point that what I say about the trust deficit is that these issues, whether it's casino, whether it's garbage, whether it's law and order, whether it's corruption, whether it's the regional plan, these issues were alive and kicking during your 5 years, not when you were there, but the 5 years of the Congress regime from 2007 to 2012, and nothing happened when you're in power. And this is the problem with the people, is that they think, and that is where Vijay also has to be very, very careful, because Vijay is positioning himself on these very issues and he's trying to ride the horse on these issues. It's very easy to keep raising these issues when you are in opposition, but when you come into government, what happens is there is where the people get so angry, because when you come into power, then you step back. So what you have to know from Vijay, what is his stand going to be on casinos? Is he going to throw every casino out from the thing? It's very easy to say that.
Okay, I'll go to Vijay. I'll just take a rebuttal and I'll go ahead. Yeah.
So quickly, it's better to admit what is possible with an economic context. Forget about what our moral positions on casinos or on mining on regional plan. But what is possible in an economic context to Goa on all these issues, much better that you admit it when you are in opposition.
So you
that
don't
eat your words.
Okay, quickly. Yeah.
Goichi economy ji asa, that economy was a resilient economy. He economy since one second. Let us be very practical. Let us see facts and figures. Goa has seen many ups and downs since liberation, and Goa's economy has been resilient. ह्या 3 वर्सांक ही इकॉनॉमी ठप जाल्या. तुका एक सांगता तू हांव फुडले व्हडले तुका तत्वां सांगिना. तू काड हांचो मॅनिफेस्टो वाच. दीस मॅनिफेस्टो तू जर नियाळ करीत, ह्या मॅनिफेस्टोन गुड इकॉनॉमिक्स इज गुड पॉलिटिक्स म्हणटा पळय, that is reduced to rubble in this manifesto, and that is exactly what has happened. But एक मिनिट, let me complete. जेन्ना तू populist measures घेता, they have to be populist measure on the touchstone of good economic viewpoints. You cannot take economy and put it in the situation where it cannot sustain itself.
Okay.
No, but
what has happened?
I'll take a rebuttal, then I'll go to Vijay. Quickly, yeah.
यतीश बाबान जशें सांगलां की तुमी अशें जे कितें इकॉनॉमीक आनी ताजे बॅलन्स दवरनासतना डोल्स दीत गेले. What I'm saying, you were not giving doles. You had no schemes, no popular schemes, whatever it is. Social schemes astalyo kashyoच. What have you done with those funds? How did you manage those finances? Where you have utilized the money? Nobody has seen it.
Take it from me.
I say that it is goals, but this has been raised and without pinching anybody.
तुम्ही म्हणतात की ते डोल पण ते लोकांमेरेन पावले.
What were you doing for all these things? In every constituency you will find 30-40 crores in a year goes by these schemes.
I will tell you.
But from where it is laid?
तू स्वच्छ भारत घे, हे काँग्रेसीचे नितळ गोंय फिलॉसॉफी. तू DSS घे, ही काँग्रेसीन कंटिन्यू केल्ली. कन्यादान घे, लाडली लक्ष्मी घे, काँग्रेसीची कन्यादान.
तुमचे फंड
सांगता तुका सगळ्यो स्किमी. ऐक मजे सगळ्यो स्किमी ज्यो आसा हाजे मूळ काँग्रेसीच्या हातून मेळटा. हाणी थोड्यो इम्प्रोवायज केल्या आसत, बट तुका एक सांगता, काँग्रेसीच्यो स्किमी हाणी फुडें व्हेल्या. पूण एक सांगता, हाणी ज्या तरेन उलयले, तुका सांगले न्ही ब्लॅक मनी चाहिए चाहिए, 15 लाख चाहिए आता ही बंडला हा पळय ही हांगा जशे 2.5 वर्सांनी यू टर्न जाले तशे देशांत
कन्यादान स्किमीची परिस्थिती 3 वर्सां कोण भुरगीं 2 भुरगीं जाले नंतर पासून तांकां मेळना which is made available to this government.
लोकांक स्किमी दिया हांव ना म्हणना लोकांक स्किमी दिया वेलफेअर स्टेट आमी कॉन्स्टिट्युशना प्रमाणे वेलफेअर स्टेट सोशलिस्ट स्टेट पूण तुका एक सांगता इकॉनॉमीचो तुमी नियाळ करूंक जाय तुम्ही ज्या तरेन वावुरले
इकॉनॉमी फासार मारून स्किमी दिनाकात
इकॉनॉमी फासार नाही इकॉनॉमी खड्ड्यान घालून स्किमी दिल्या
विजय द पॉइंट इज द ऑस्करान केल्लो आनी सामको इम्पॉर्टंट पॉइंट की आज तूं ह्या गजालींचे स्टँड घेता फाल्यां जर तूं पावराक आयलो तुय बी गोंयकाराक शिंगला येतलो
ताजेर एक पयलीं जाता
हय
ऑस्करान सांगला ते भशेन की काँग्रेस आनी बीजेपी ऑलमोस्ट एक आशिल्ली वेन इट कम्स टू इकॉनॉमिक्स आतां आय फील आय मेक अ फर्दर चार्ज ऑन बोथ ऑफ देम दॅट एक नमो फॅक्टर म्हणून जाला हे जयराम रमेशान कॉइन केला की नो एक्शन मेसेज ओनली म्हणून ओनली स्लोगन्स ते दोगूय जाण ताजेरूच आहा बोथ द काँग्रेस एज वेल एज द बीजेपी दे हॅव टॉक्ड बीग नाव यू आर सेईंग स्वच्छ भारत आनी नितळ गोंय इतलें आसून पयर आयतारा बीबीसीचो एक तो ट्रॅव्हल गायड म्हणून प्रोग्राम आहा ताजेर ते गोंयाचेर हाडटात दे से दीस इज अ टायनी स्टेट इट्स अ पॅराडायज इट अट्रॅक्ट्स 1% ऑफ टोटल टुरिस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड येट दीस इज गोईंग टू ड्विंडल बिकॉज देर इज हिप्स ऑफ गार्बेज एवरीवेअर हांव म्हणटा पेपराचेर दिश्टी पडटा सगळीं ऑर्गनायजेशनां सगळे टीव्ही चॅनल कोण येता उठ्ठा सुट्टा ते गुड गव्हर्नन्स म्हणटा हे सान्नी मारतात अरे कचरो वता खंय सगळे जर तुम्ही सान्नी मारता जाल्यार कचरो वता खंय बेसीक म्हाका दिसता कचऱ्या खातीर हे स्वच्छ भारत इज जस्ट अ स्लोगन येट अनदर एक्शन पळय सांगता तुका नाव दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट स्किम्स सो लेट मी टेक ऑन वॉट दे हॅव सेड स्किम्स म्हणटात नाव वॉट इज दिस स्कीम फॉर एक्झाम्पल लाडली लक्ष्मी यू आर एक्चुअली फायनान्सिंग अ मॅरेज यू आर गिविंग अ गव्हर्नमेंट डावरी इन अदर वर्ड्स बट that Catholic who has his marriage in a wedding is sent, police are sent at 10 o'clock to shut down his marriage. Today a new concept has started. आज बँडाचे मेंबरांचे मोबाईल फोन मागतात. So these are double standards of the BJP.
See, just to take on that particular issue of the communal thing, which we haven't really touched upon as far as Goa is concerned. Let me admit here that certainly as far as this BJP, the Goa BJP is concerned, it has not been communal in nature. I'm not agreeing to that. Goa BJP, at the center, the frontal organizations of the Sangh Parivar have definitely indulged in communal propaganda. Today, the Garvapsi thing and all this other bloody nonsense that is going on in the country. And what is sad is that the Goa BJP does not have the guts, including Mr. Manohar Parrikar at the center.
One advice to the Chief Minister.
I can tell you one thing. This government has derailed the state economy. This government has ensured that even जो फुडाराक मुख्यमंत्री येतलो 2017 he will have a tough task to perform. And chief minister has to sit on the table and use his mind. ताजे advice कोण advice दिता म्हाका खबर ना पूण record पळय facts पळय आणि बरी economic हे कर.
Quickly, your advice as not just as a BJP leader but as a legislator to your chief minister. Quickly.
No, we just cannot advise because we believe we are under him. But I would always like to have industrial growth as well as employment to the youths. They should earn. They should be on their capacity, the capacity building or whatever we say that.
Single line advice to the chief minister.
स्वार्थ लागल्या ती बरी आहा तुझे स्वार्थी खातीर गोंय व्हरून घाटार विकना
बरं म्हाका दिसता मेजर इश्यूंचेर सारकी डिस्कशन जाला मेजर इश्यूज पॉइंट आउट जाल्यात अँड ऑन दीज मेजर इश्यूज आय फील की रुलींग आसूं किंवा ओपोजिशन आसूं जे पॉइंट आउट जाल्यात त्या इश्यूंचेर ह्या वर्सां भितर खंय तरी दिशा मेळची पडटली जाल्यारच आमी 2016 भितर सारके सातिस्वेद जावन वचपाक शकता तुमी आयले इतली बरी भासाभास केली थँक्स अ लॉट पळयत रावात प्रुडंट नमस्कार.